welcome to episode 60 of the YarnderWoman Podcast. It has been a while, almost 2 months since I last recorded, which was not intentional, and I'm sorry about that, but life got in the way quite drastically. Nothing terribly bad, just busy. So we have part 1 right now, and there will be a part 2 of this episode because we've got quite a lot to show you, including some knitting from YarnderMum. So YarnderMum is joining us today as well. And thank you for everyone who is joining us. If you are new, welcome. If you are returning, thank you so much for your patience, and it's lovely to spend time with you. So who are you spending time with? I am Melinda, known as YarnderWoman on Instagram and Ravelry. We also have a group for the podcast, which is on Ravelry. It's a Ravelry group on Ravelry. Just look for YarnderWoman Podcast in the groups tab. I'm going to have links to everything that we talk about linked through that Ravelry group, as well as in the show notes, which is www.yarnderwoman.blogspot.com.au. So, what day is it? Sunday, April 30th, 2017. Today is actually my last day of having a week off work, which just went so quickly. I'm obviously very grateful to have a week off work and to have a job that allows me to have paid leave, blah, blah, blah. I'd still rather have more time off work, but let's not worry about that. We'll focus on all the knitting that we have today. We are coming to you as always from Perth in Western Australia. It's getting a bit chilly. As you can see, we're a bit rugged up, but it's going to be a lovely 25 Celsius later today, so it's not too bad. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. Do you know? Maybe maybe 70s-ish? You know, sort of nicely warm, but not too warm or too cold. But anyway, as I said, we have a lot to show you, so let's continue with part 1, and we will start by broaching the subject.
Am I talking about my brooch now?
Go ahead, yes. We're broaching the subject, and you've got double time today, so what have you got on today, Mum?
I'm wearing a fox.
A fox.
And that's because I'm a very foxy lady.
No one can deny that. And foxes, as I believe I've mentioned before, foxes are feral animals in Australia, so they're not native, and they actually do quite a lot of damage to the native wildlife here. However, foxes in general are just awesome. And this one in particular is very special because that was given to YarnderMum by the lovely Shara, who has the Shara Made podcast and Etsy shop. And she actually also gave me the same one, but a white one, when she and I and YarnderMum met up in Bendigo last year. And then she sent this lovely natural wooden one to YarnderMum afterwards. So very special, very lovely Australian made by a local maker.
Yes,
so
I'm very lucky.
Yes, YarnderMum likes to wear that one quite often.
Yes.
I've got another animal that I really love, being a bat. This one is from Creep Heart Designs, which is also another Australian maker. Shara is based just outside of Melbourne in Victoria, and Creep Heart are based in Brisbane, Queensland, which is a northern state, a bit more north than Victoria, but they're both on the eastern side of Australia. So all Australian made, but quite far from us, but we are very happy to have them.
Definitely.
Links, of course, in the show notes if you want to buy your own. Because it's been 2 months, I have been doing quite a bit of knitting where I've had time, a lot of knitting on my commutes. This last week, when I've had the week off, I did quite a bit of knitting. And as such, I've got quite a few FOs to show you. The first one, I haven't snipped all the ends off, but it has been blocked. Look at this beauty.
They're gorgeous.
Here, I'll show YarnderMum the front. There you go. This is the Homestead shawl designed by the wonderful Marsha Ibuki, who has the Fairy Little podcast and is the designer, where she's got lots of amazing patterns on Ravelry. And I think YarnderMum's trying to claim this one, but I'm sorry, you're not having it.
Oh.
Yeah. So this is one I did show you in previous episodes when I was working on it. What I did was use the base colour, which is in the edging here, and also all the in-betweens. That is One Twisted Tree yarn by the lovely Danny of Prairie Girl Knit and Spin podcast. And that colour is Hinky Punk, and it's this gorgeous greyish purple. You can see that lovely tonal mix there. Do you like that colour, YarnderMum? Yes. So I've used that for the base colour, and then I used lots of mini skeins that I had that mostly had come from friends, which is lovely, and I went through the colours, black, red, grey and purple, and then just repeated in that order. So gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Last time I showed you this, I had put this then whip in timeout because it had been naughty, because it wasn't me at all, and it certainly wasn't the pattern, it was me. But when I was doing the edging, I was one stitch off when I got to the second row of the lace, which meant of course all the yarn overs had moved. So I ripped that back. It was quite handy though, because I was able to rip back to the black, so it was quite easy to pick up the stitches because I knew which ones to pick up by the colour. And the second time I did it, it all went perfectly well. As I said, it's not the pattern at all, I just made a little slip up. So it is done, and I bound off with a red edging to just give it that extra pop, and I'll pop it on. It's gorgeous to wrap around.
It sure is.
Snuggle, snuggle, snuggle. You could wear it any which way. This would be quite nice as sort of a shoulder warmer. You could of course wear it at the front. There's all sorts of ways. In one of, I think the episode when Marsha released the pattern, there was a section at the end of her episode where she was styling it and wearing it in various different ways. So this is another great way as well. Obviously the ends will be snipped off before I wear it, but yes. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. As I mentioned, it's getting chilly here as we are entering more actual autumn weather, not the heat that we sort of had lingering in March. So this is going to be nice and snuggly and very, very useful quite soon. Are you jealous, YarnderMum?
Yes.
Sorry. You can have something else.
All right.
Yeah. So that is finished object number 1, the Homestead Shawl by Marsha Ibuki. Next 3 FOs are all socks. I have entered a sock phase, and we'll be talking a bit later. We're going to have a sock knit along for the month of May, so more on that later. But firstly, finished object socks, pair number 1.
What a great idea, doing them like that. And
That's
they've got
right.
sheep in
They
there.
do have sheep, and I will show you those sock blockers in just a moment. But first of all, I'll show you this gorgeous yarn.
Do you think she likes it?
Maybe. This yarn is by Gnome Acres, and it is in the Harley Quinn colourway. So those who've been watching a while know I'm a little bit of a fan of Harley Quinn, particularly the original colours of the black, red, white and grey. And this yarn just captures it perfectly. It's got all 4 of those colours, the black and the red being the most prominent. This is in the Bungalow Gnome base, which is 75% BFL, Blue Face Leicester, and 25% nylon. And I really enjoyed working with the BFL. I think most of my socks, if not all, have previously been with a merino nylon base. So I really enjoyed using the BFL, and I'd like to get some more BFL sock yarn bases. So don't know when or where, but I'd like to get some. So these I completed back in March, and I cast them on to work on during Oz Comic Con, which is a big comic convention that's held, well, around Australia, but it's held in Perth in March. And Damien, for his illustration business, DKS Art and Design, had a booth, and I was working the booth with him. So I had these to knit on, which A, gave me something to do while I was serving people or while there was a quieter time. And B, being Harley Quinn, it suited the comic convention perfectly. So I cast on the ribbing, I think, the day before, and then I just worked on them. I had them separately, so going concurrently, because I thought a single sock is a bit easier to manage than 2 at a time when I'm, picking it up and down quite regularly. So I've been working out my sort of best for me sock recipe, and I have tweaked it even further. Sock recipe. You're picturing me in the kitchen mixing a sock. Yes, not quite. But so what I did was I cast on 68 stitches and continued that through for the whole thing. I've done the Fish Lips Kiss heel, which is my favourite heel to do. I can do it now from memory. I don't need to check the pattern. And I used the toe from the Skedaddle pattern by Lena Gerald, and that gives a nice rounded toe. Now on some of the other toes, I'll show you, I've tweaked that a little bit as well, but that's those. So I love these. I've worn them several times. These are washed that I'm showing you now, but I have worn them. Very nice and comfy, perfect fit, and very nice for the chilly mornings. And I love how the yarns turned out. So that's finished object number 2, sock project number 1. Pair number 2 are some not quite ankle socks, but definitely with a shorter cuff. These beauties are made with junk yarn in the Lorelei colourway. Now I must apologise, last time I announced the colourway of that yarn, I think it was when I was showing it in acquisitions, because this yarn I so excitingly won direct from junk yarn from lovely Kemper, and I misread the label and I said Coralie, so my apologies, it is Lorelei and it is a Gilmore Girls reference. So these are very, very autumnal, which is when I got the yarn I decided that I would cast these on once autumn started. As I said, we've had a bit of heat, but it's getting cooler now, so it all works out. So it's got the gorgeous chocolatey brown, the orange, pinky, and the white there. Really, really lovely. These again have the fish lips kiss heel and the toe from Skedaddle. Peekaboo. Sorry. I haven't had breakfast yet, so we're going out for breakfast after we've recorded, so that's going to be exciting. What do you think of these, YarnderMum?
I think they're absolutely stunning. Just right for my handbag.
Well, you might have to wait a while without giving things away. Mother's Day is coming up soon.
Ooh.
So who knows what will happen.
Ooh.
Yes. Moving on from that though, something else I wanted to show you. These gorgeous black speckles throughout the yarn. I just love that. Every time they popped up, it was just sort of a little extra. Ooh. So yes, lovely yarn. I really recommend it. Same as I do the No Makers. This is a merino nylon base, this one. Really sturdy. I believe it's a 3-ply. And yeah, very soft and sturdy. And yeah, you can see the great colours have really...
absolutely
really
gorgeous.
Vibrant after blocking as well, and before blocking too. I don't mean there's a change, but the colour has really stayed nicely. So thank you again, Kemper, for running that competition, and thank you, Universe, for letting me win that yarn. So YarnderMum has benefited. What? Nothing.
Pardon?
FO number 4, sock pair number 3. These are just stunning. Can't get over the colour, it's gorgeous. So this, and I'm sorry I didn't have the tags for the other 2 yarns, they are somewhere in the house. This is the Cyborgs Craft Room. And this was made by the lovely Megan, who unfortunately has passed away, may she rest in peace. So also sadly you cannot buy this yarn anymore. But I bought this many, many years ago. I think it was one of my first purchases from both Cyborgs Craft Room as well as an indie dyer. And as well as the gorgeousness of the colours, the name of the yarn really attracted me as well. Do Cyborgs knit with electric yarn? So that's a reference to the Philip K. Dick novel, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which is what the movie Blade Runner was based on.
I've never heard of electric sheep.
Well, there you go, yes. So I love both the book and the movie Blade Runner, and so I thought that name was just particularly clever. And the colours itself, it's just stunning. Like, it's not, I want to say neon, but it's not neon because it's not bright like that, but it's that kind of colour. This is what's left of the cake. And what I was sort of thinking about, it's almost like the socks have been frozen and the colours are washed out with ice, if that makes sense. It's that kind of a look to it. And it's coming up a little bit darker on the screen than it is in real life. But I just love it. So it's got sort of the purples, maroony purples, these pops of bright green as well, and a couple of shades of blue. Just stunning. Like, Megan was just an amazing dyer. And just the way, I've never had a yarn quite like this in terms of the colour. And the reason I cast these on Easter Sunday, which was about 2-3 weeks ago now, I needed a project to take with us after we had YarnderMum, my brother's family, over here in the morning, but then we were going to Damien's family in the afternoon, and I needed a travel project to take, and a sock project I had that's in works in progress was at a key point where I needed to be able to measure and whatnot, and I just didn't want to take that for a travel project. So I grabbed this yarn, but this had been in a languishing whip for possibly, I can't remember, 3, 4, 5 years, and it was in the process of being a shawl, but I had long ago put it in hibernation and then always intended to rip it out, never had. It had just gotten, lost in the bottom of a cupboard, which is terrible because how privileged am I to have that much yarn that stuff can just stay in a cupboard for several years. So yes, I do exactly acknowledge how lucky I am that I have that much yarn. But happily for this one, I pulled it out, ripped out what there was of the shawl when we're in the car, and then cast on the sock. So it's the same as the other ones I showed you, but I mentioned that I tweaked the numbers a bit. So on the Harley Quinn socks, actually, YarnderMum, can you pass me those, the red and black ones? Thank you. So these ones, as I mentioned, I cast on 68 stitches at the top and then kept going. When I cast on a sock, I don't know if we can see there, here, you see the hole there for the cast on's quite a bit bigger. I always cast on over 2 needles just to make it a bit looser. Now this fits really well, but for the part of my leg at the top here where it stretches out, and it's sort of doing it as I stretch it here, I have to show it, the cast on edge folds inwards because it's quite tight. It's still perfectly comfortable, it's not too tight, but the cast on edge folds down and you can feel that it's, stretched to its capacity. So what I decided to do, and what I will now do moving forward, is I cast on 72 stitches for the ribbing, and I believe I've done about 15 rows, and that is really comfortable. It's not stretched out to its capacity, it's stretched out quite comfortably. Then I do 1 round of plain stockinette at the 72, then I decrease to 68 stitches on the next row, just by doing knit 1, SSK, knit to 2 stitches before the end, knit 2 together, knit 1, and then on the same on the other side. And I'm finding that's really, really fitting me well in terms of the comfort and the fit and the appropriate stretch. I've also worked out my numbers. I do 80 stitches on the leg, so 80 stitches of the stockinette. Then I do the fish lips kiss heel, and then on the Harley Quinn socks and also on YarnderMum's, whose? No, don't know whose those are for. On this pair of socks, I did 80 stitches on the foot, and then I did the toe for the skedaddle pattern. Now the skedaddle pattern is a free one, so I'm not giving anything away. You start with knit 6, knit 2 together all the way around, and then it decreases from there. But that was with a 64 stitch. Now this is 68. Now when I was making these, I thought, whatever, I'll just have those extra 4 stitches in the mix and then they'll eventually decrease, and that was fine. So what that means is there's a bit of extra fabric on the side, so that looks nothing like my toes, but yeah, there's extra fabric on one side of the foot, which is fine, and it hasn't, it doesn't bother me or get in the way or anything. But what I decided when I was doing these socks is that I would, before I start the toe, decrease to 64, and that way I can just do the toe as it's written, and it does give it a bit more round, you're not having that extra 4 stitches going along. However, what I found when I did that is that the sock wasn't long enough anymore, because as I said, I did 80 stitches before the toe on this one. When I did the same here, it wasn't fitting, it was too short. So obviously the extra stitches, the extra 4 stitches that get worked for quite a while give me enough room, and so that's why these fit. So I actually had to rip out the toe twice to play with the numbers, because first time I did it, I just added a couple of extra rows, then did the toe, still wasn't long enough. So then on the 3rd attempt, it went really well. I believe I do, I can't remember the numbers, it'll be on my Ravelry page, but something like 86 rows, decrease to 64, 1 round of stockinette, then the toe decreases. So it's all on my Ravelry page, and I always link to my Ravelry page in the show notes, so everything will be there, including all the yarn names, everything like that. So yes, perfect sock fit and numbers for me, using fingering weight yarn and a 2.25mm needle. I'm very excited to have found my perfect sock numbers.
Yay!
Finally! And actually, I told a fib. I did not do 81 rows for the foot on these because someone I know, not that they're getting these socks or anything, but let's just say, for example, YarnderMum, her feet are slightly longer than mine. So when I was knitting these, YarnderMum came in to meet me for lunch and we went to a cafe near my office. And I actually just got her to put her leg up on the chair and I pulled off the sock she was wearing and got her to try it on so we could work out the foot length. But no one really minded. The cafe's great. They know that I knit, so it's fine. So yes, now we have the perfect sock numbers for someone whose foot happened to be the same as YarnderMum's as well. So that's nice.
Well, there you go.
There you go. So, subterfuge aside, let's talk about sock blockers. So, YarnderMum has never seen a sock blocker before and she's quite intrigued by them, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so these were very kindly sent to me as a gift and for review. And it's written on here, Lumi Graphica. And they are an Australian maker. And Yanam, would you mind holding that one? I'll just pull off the second one. They're an Australian maker, and as I said, they sent me these for review, and I'll be doing a more formal or full review in another episode this month. But I wanted to let you know these are really, really good. I found them excellent because they've got the holes that help with the drying of the sock, as well as this little hook, so you can hook them on to your clothes horse or a drying rack or anything like that. They slide really well. The acrylic's it's thin but really solid. So they worked really well and I'm really happy with them. So as I said, more specific review later, but I thought I would show you since we've been demonstrating quite a bit with them today. Okay. YarnderMum's very excited to be back on the camera, aren't you?
Absolutely.
I am excited to finally be able to announce the winners of a couple of things, both the quarterly draw for the charity knit-along, but most especially the winners for the pop culture knit-along that we held a couple of months ago now. Thank you again for everyone's patience, and I'm very excited that we have quite a few winners, and it was so wonderful seeing everyone's projects. So as a quick recap, you could use a pattern or yarn or fibre if you were spinning, as long as there was a pop culture reference, so comics, TV shows, movies, that sort of thing. I'm obviously quite a pop culture fan, and it was really, really fun to see everything come through. Without further ado, because there's been enough ado already, let's announce the prizes. So, we had prizes for the chatted thread as well as the finished object thread, because participation is great as well. It doesn't always have to be about finishing things. So starting off with the chatter prizes. So we had 97 posts. The first one was obviously mine and out with the first info. So random number generated between 2 to 97. And the first prize we had is some wonderful art from the lovely Dominica, who's Ophelia Violetta on Instagram. And she has the Auberginen Art Etsy shop. She's over in Germany. So she'll be posting the prize directly to the winner. But here is a photo of it here. So that's a lovely Hogwarts Knitting Club and a SPEW badge. SPEW is not what you think in this context, YarnderMum. It is the Society for the Protection of Elfish Welfare. It's from Harry Potter, about elves about elves not having to be slaves. It's part of the Harry Potter story. Yep. So thank you so much again, Dominica, for that lovely prize donation. And that was a drum roll. The winner was post number 19, Samash Williams 94, Samantha from Florida in the USA. Yay! Hooray! Now, her post was about her plans to finish some Harry Potter works in progress. So Samantha obviously likes Harry Potter, so I think this prize has worked out very nicely. So Samantha, get in touch with me by direct message on Ravelry, and then I will put you in touch with Dominica and you can organise getting your prize to you. Second prize for the chatter thread was very kindly donated to us by Knit So Pop Etsy shop, who is an Australian maker based on the other side of Australia. And she has made a YarnderWoman project bag. How appropriate could you get? And that will be sent directly to the winner as well, so I don't have that with me to show you. But the winner for that one was post number 11, Kelly Jo Girl, Kelly from Michigan in the USA. Yay! Kelly, get in touch with me again via direct message on Ravelry. I'll hook you up with Knit So Pop and we'll get your bag off to you very soon. And prizes from the finished object thread. There were 38 finished objects, and so the random number generator was between numbers 2 and 38. The first prize we'll be talking about is this gorgeous dingo tail from Dingo Dye Works. So that is what Peter from Dingo Dye Works refers to her. They're a bit bigger than a mini skein, so they're 25 grams, but she calls them dingo tails because she is Dingo Dye Works. Now Peter is a dye based here in Perth, and she's just so wonderful. Look at that colour. This is called Pig Face, which sounds not like a pretty, well, not that pigs aren't pretty, that's very subjective and judgmental of me, isn't it? But Pig Face is an Australian wildflower that is literally that bright. Like, it's really, really an accurate colour description. So as well as the dingo tail, you get this lovely pink stitch marker as well. And along with that prize, you get an art book by DKS Art and Design. And among other things, Damien does a lot of pop culture art, so hence an appropriate prize for a pop culture knit-along. So the winner of that one was post number 5, My Children's Mother, Kim from Melbourne in Australia. Yay! Kim, again, get in touch with me via direct message on Ravelry. I will get all that sent out to you. Our next prize is a project bag that was generously made for us by Mel, who is Dubai Mel on Instagram. She doesn't actually even have a Ravelry Etsy shop or any other kind of shop. She is just a great sewist and donated us this beautiful bag. So it's got Star Wars fabric. So it's just folded in half from the Force Awakens movie. Gorgeous. And the winner of that one was post number 36, S.E. Hepworth, Sarah from West Yorkshire in the UK. Yes, that's right. Things are going everywhere. Sarah, send me your address via direct message and I will get that out to you very soon. And our last prize winner was a generously, or before we get to the prize winner, the prize itself was a generously donated pattern by Jessica Gore, who's a Sweater Co on Instagram. And she donated for us the Brick Road pattern. So that is a Wizard of Oz reference, the yellow brick road. You don't have to knit yellow socks, you can knit whatever colour you like. The winner of that pattern prize was post number 22, Iril Knits, Nana from Norway. Yay! So Nana, if you get in touch with me, send me your details and I will get you and Jessica hooked up and then she can send you your pattern prize. Thank you to everyone. Now, I know I've asked everyone to send me their details and get in touch on Ravelry. Usually the way I do it is if I don't hear from an announced winner within, say, 4 weeks or so, it's sometimes longer, I will redraw the prize to give everyone enough opportunity to watch the episode, but also to make sure that people who are winning the prizes are directly participating, if that makes sense. I know a lot of podcasts do that. Some do, some don't. But because there's been such a time lag between when the knit-along finished and now when I'm announcing it, what I'll do is I'll give it a few weeks so that people have a chance, because it's always exciting to hear your name when you're announced as a winner. So I'll give people a few weeks, but then I might just get directly in touch with the winners because, as I said, because there's been that lag, which has been because of my scheduling issues, I don't want anyone to miss out because it's a delay caused by me, if that makes sense. So let me know if you do hear yourself announced, otherwise I'll get in touch with people in a few weeks. And we have one more prize winner to announce, and that is, as I mentioned, the quarterly draw for the charity knit-along. So we have that running all year. It's just one thread where you can post works in progress, finished objects, anything you like, things that you're making for charity. It can be knit, crochet, sewn, anything like that. So the winner for that one, there were 82 posts at the time I drew it, which was at the quarter mark. And the winner was post number 31, who is Avril from Madrid in Spain. Although I believe she's originally from Ireland, but lives in Madrid. So yay, congratulations. So the prize for this one is the Sight is Life ebook, which is being very kindly donated to us by another viewer of the podcast. So she will be buying and sending that pattern to Avril. So Avril, get in touch with me. As I said, because of the delay, I'll also get in touch with you if I don't hear from you in a couple of weeks for this time round. So thank you to everyone for all those prize entries or contest entries. Congratulations to the winners. Thank you to everyone who participated. You're all winners in my book. And again, sorry for the delay in announcing them. So, announcements of prizes finished for that knit along. Let's have a new one. You may have seen on Instagram, I'm YarnderWoman there as well, so do request to follow me. I do have it set for private, so as long as I can see that you're a knitter or a crafter in some way, then I'll accept your request. If you don't have anything on your profile on Instagram that shows me that, just send me a quick private message on Instagram and then I'll know. So, on Instagram, I announced that we would be having a sock knit-along for the month of May. So, from the 1st of May to the 31st of May. And we're just going to have the one thread, so you can post works in progress, if you finish your socks, everything in there will just go in the one thread and we'll have prizes drawn from there. So, socks that are 50% or less completed can count. So, if you've knit one sock and you haven't yet started the second, that's cool, that can go in. Anything less than 50% as well, obviously fine. So pull out your sock whips, get casting on if you want to do something new, and join us. We've already had some lovely prizes donated, which is very exciting, and there may be more to come. But what we have so far, patterns from Claire Devine, who's a wonderful designer and has some fantastic sock patterns. She's generously donated a copy of her ebook and 2 single patterns as well. So there'll be 3 prize winners coming from Claire's generosity. I'm also in chats with the Sock Blocker company, and we may have some sock blocker prizes as well, but I'll let you know more details when that is finalised. And I have some other thoughts on maybe some yarn prizes, so more in the next or future episodes. And I'll also have the thread open on Ravelry so you can see everything there. When you see this, the thread will be up and ready and live, so please start chatting. Obviously, the more you participate in the thread, the greater your chances are of winning, so looking forward to seeing you there. I've definitely hit a sock phase, so I'll have lots happening for my sock knitting too. Are you going to knit some socks one day?
One day.
One day.
When I get old.
Yes, exactly. Something to do in your retirement.
Yes.
Yes. So what you saw just there were some products that you can buy now on a RedBubble page for the YarnderWoman podcast. So if you're not aware, RedBubble is a site where designers and illustrators can upload their designs and pictures and whatnot, and people can buy direct from the site items like, t-shirts, mugs, dresses, leggings, travel mugs, coasters, cushions, all sorts of things with those designs on. Now, Damien for DKS Art and Design does have a RedBubble store for his original work as well. But we also have a separate one for the YarnderWoman podcast, and that logo is original work by DKS Art Design. So I will have the link to this in the show notes. You can go there. This is a great way for you to support the podcast. Now, when I say that, we get a margin of the price, but to let you know, RedBubble do get most of the money because they're the ones making the product itself and hosting the site and all that sort of thing, which is great. That's their business model. But we do get part of the portion of your price, your purchase price, and that is a great way for you to support the podcast if you are able to and if you like any of the items. Obviously, there is absolutely no pressure. If you don't want anything, don't worry about it. But you could have a look, and there's lots. I think I'm just remembering as well, there's things like notebooks and phone covers, all sorts of things. So go and have a look if you are interested. Everything's got the YarnderWoman logo in a couple of variations, and Damien's uploaded with colours, like as in background colour, that complement the logo. But if there is something you would like with a different background colour, just send me a direct message on Ravelry, because we can actually upload one of the listings. So for example, if you wanted the YarnderWoman logo on a t-shirt but a green background of the t-shirt, definitely that can be organised. Just let me know what you'd like. We can then send you the direct link for that specific listing. So it's very exciting. I think there's often sales on the site as well. And if you don't already have a RedBubble login, like it doesn't cost you anything to log in, it's just, you create an account as such. I believe, I'm just checking my notes, I think yeah, when you sign up to RedBubble, you'll actually get 10% off your first purchase. So if you're not already on RedBubble and you sign up and would like to buy something from the YarnderWoman store, you'll get 10% off just by signing up. So they often do have sales on the site as well. So once you've signed up, you'll get notified of any future sales there. I think next time there's a sale on, I might buy myself some YarnderWoman merchandise, which might be nice. Oh, you could get a YarnderWoman t-shirt. You could promote it at the Senior Citizens Centre and such. Yeah, there we go. But yes, link in the show notes. Maybe, yes, we'll see. Link in the show notes. Have a look if you are interested, and thank you very much in advance if you do decide to purchase anything. Okay, it's time for a quick hot drink break, I think. Ready for a cup of tea, YarnderMum?
Mm-hmm.
We will sign off here from part 1 of episode 60, but we will shortly be recording episode 2, or part 2 of episode 60. So do have a look on YouTube, and that other episode should be ready for you as soon as you're ready for it. So thank you very much for watching us. Have a lovely day and happy crafting. Bye.
Bye-bye.